Hello everyone, to another video, and today we are looking at what if civilization started over. Now it's like what, 10 a.m. so I woke up very fucking early, but it paid off and I stopped procrastinating on what I had to do. As you can see, I have added a lot. Before this all was blank and there were only a few villages over here. Now look at this, and guess what? Boom! Villagers all over the place, and I would add like a bit, like how do I say this? Uh, Towns, but I will add two towns, one for Riga and one for Parno, which is the this nation's capital. And towns in the Neanderthal sense are smaller than the than sapient towns, because the sapiens have had time to explore the idea of it. Also, a lot has happened here. I will cover it halfway through the video. As you can see, there's a ton that has happened through time that we haven't checked up on it, but that will be something that we will talk about. But we'll first have to go over to the Mediterranean and Red Sea. I think that's what it's called, the Red Sea. No, I'm not gonna go over there. We're going to go over to one of the big three over here. The big three are Carthage, Mesopotamian Empire, and Egypt, because Egypt is kind of big and large and strong and big boy strong. They are big boy, they are strong boy, they are very strong, they are very much liked. And if you were to declare war on them, well, have yourself a cup of tea, because yeah, you're probably not even making it back home to your wife and kids. Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Most likely though. But yeah, let's go straight into this whole thing. I'm kinda exhausted, I think, from doing all of this, but for you guys, I'm ready to do anything. Even die. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. I won't die for you guys, unless I'm that desperate, which I am not. If I was that desperate, I would, but I don't. So I am. So what do we see in the first opening minutes of this video? Is another war between the Turkish nation of the Turkic nation, well, Anatolian, because this is the Anatolian, the Anatolian Empire and its puppets between will go and fight one of these two guys. Why? Expansion towards the coast, that's why. And for better trade routes and for better land access. And the first one they attack, and the only one that they do attack, is this guy. The reason for it is kind of weird. They very much covet these lands for some reason. They see them as more fertile than their own, and they really much want these. Although the blue guy over here in this area does want to ask for leniency for these guys. These guys over here are like, no, don't ask that. We want to win this war. But they quickly lose one of their towns, their second town, and probably their second capital if they ever lost their first one. And quickly we see that their capital gets sieged, and a quick battle for this village causes the rest of the forces over here to decide that maybe surviving is the better option, and a few of them just stay loyal, while the others, everyone else, just decides to crumble away in the dust. That's the main thing they do. The only thing, basically. Until they lose this village and they're like, yo, this is not fun anymore, let's just leave. And once the siege over here gets very, very dark, we see that this guy will surrender and it will be invaded. Although we do see that the ethnic groups over here that are of Mesopotamian origin, they will not be seen in the same light as the others would be. But seeing how large the Mesopotamians are and their policy on defending every Mesopotamian alive, the Antiochs, the Anatolians won't really do anything about it. So yeah. And then they ask for land from this guy, that being basically its capital and these regions. They want these regions, and knowing that this guy cannot win, it gives us its capital, and only a year later it is invaded a bit more for more borderlands and for more villages to be under the Anatolian Empire. Although we do see the Anatolian Empire be successful in its campaigns, it is not successful in trying to subjugate one particular village, that being this one, as it fights for hell and back, but ultimately it's the last one standing, and it decides to be the last one to ever stand, as it's going to immediately join these guys for protection. And seeing that these guys are guaranteed by you know who, these guys will make a deal with them. We will give you, the ambassador says, we will give you all of this in exchange for you guys over here not holding a grudge. And they are fairly lenient and happy about this. We also see that this puppet over here gets annexed. Was about damn time. Borders looked a bit weird. And the Anatolian Empire is looking a bit sassy over here. But Rhodes ain't looking that good. Oh god, Rhodes. Let me tell you, my buddy, you are in dire straits. He has been having economic troubles. It is not seeing the best of the light, and worse yet, it's having an invasion done by Izmir. And quickly the Izmirian government sends it in its forces to take these islands. Although Rose is successful in taking some of them back, Izmir will effortlessly take them back again, and well, it will be a huge joke making of the Rhodes people, because the Rhodes were before a bit of the stronger side, because everyone was like over stronger over here. They were the strongest over here, but now they have lost their mainland colonies, and they've lost their islands, and worse yet, they're having to meet the first Anatolian Imperial Navy, which is like 18 boats. I say boats because they are technically boats. They're like small corvettes. You could arguably say that. But they do manage to land, and they do manage to wreak havoc by cutting off supplies from the north. And quickly after taking that, we see that a sudden landing over here causes the siege to end, and Rhodes is officially puppeted under the Izmirian people. But we do see that the northern part of the island is annexed into the Anatolian Empire, while the southern half is given puppet status. Crete, they will mop up this nation, because this nation kinda just is an eyesore. Don't know why they still exist. They should have fallen a long time ago. They don't even have a proper army. Athens, political unions, anyone? Political unions? Alright, you do have a political union for the unification of these two nations. Alright, I see what's going on. We quickly also see that Athens seems to be surrounded by powerful empires. Like we have Izmir, Crete is like not that powerful. You could take Crete if you wanted, but that would be costly, and Sparta would gain an opportunity to attack you, and you don't want that. And then Sparta has this guy who, let's just say, isn't that funny to mess around with. Then you have this guy up here, and then you have Thrace, who might ally with you, but seeing how it's surrounded by not one, not two, but three different big guys, looking at them very hungrily because they are in a very, very good economic situation, and that's because of the straits over here and straits over here, and they kind of just, yeah, they are very strategic, very good for money, and these three are eyeing them up very well, but they're having a lot of talks about who gets what, and both of these guys want access to this, and they want to control this. This guy has arguably the better situation over here because they have the mainland over here that they can invade from, but this guy has also the mainland and the sea access to close off this area for a bit. Even though it would hurt the economies of some of these down the line nations over here, they would be able to go through the Anatolian Empire. And quickly, we also see Cyprus. Why Cyprus? Like, just why? Just why, man? You were doing so well, only to fall from grace. So what has happened over here, you may ask? A coup d'etat to be exact. And how did it happen? Well, one admiral of the Cyprus Navy was like, yo, I could actually be a leader. And that ego just stuck with him until he was like, yo, I should just take over the country. And that's what he does. He takes it over and declares an expansionist policy. But seeing how he's surrounded by very powerful empires and his own nation is very, very vulnerable, he will try and invade Crete. Try. He won't be able to, but he will be able to take over these islands. And Crete will not be able to take them back, so in the peace treaty, Cyprus gets colonies over here, yay. And somebody asks for this island. And this one. Which is given, this island is given, this one is not. Anatolia is like, bro, if you don't let us, we will invade you. And these guys are like, we have a stronger navy than you, don't mess with us. The lie is believed, because they don't have a stronger navy. They just lost half of the navy in the Civil War, and that's what causes a lot of problems. But we do see that something interesting happens, and that is Sudan suddenly over here declaring an expansionist policy in their nation, and they will begin an invasion of southern and greater Libya. Well, this is not Sudan. I'm sorry for anyone who just yelled at me. But this is Libya, and we do see that after a small invasion force does manage to be blocked, a larger one, much larger, will invade this area and quickly take it, leading to Libya seeing a lot of problems. But just before their nation collapses, the Libyans, the rest of them, arrive, and then the city is cut in half, and that treaty just gives these guys control of all of this, because these guys want to unite the Carthaginians. Yeah. Also, the Carthaginians going on another conquest, I see. And who are you doing it to this time? Oh, hell no. Not this island nation. Yeah, they just do this. They invade this island nation, and they say they only want this, which is granted. 2 months later, this guy's entire port, every single port village is taken, and its coastline is occupied. And then it's annexed by this guy. So yeah, accidentally, but kind of builds up the thought of these the Carthaginians, who quickly take over the rest of the island, and this island too. Which, don't get me wrong, they do resist quite heavily, and the Carthaginians do lose a lot of their forces. But that's not even the main army, as the main army is trying to subjugate the Sardinian people over here, who constantly ask for something better than just that. Also, Italic wartime. Venice, our good old friend, has finally gone on the last conquest of the Italics. They have declared war on this nation and have decided to push into the desired lands of theirs and secure them. Although they do that, they weren't expecting for heavy resistance in this one village, where the village just above it was not that heavily defended. Eventually this village falls, but it's at a high cost for the Venetians, who, after trying to take another 2 villages, and again the southern one is more defended and harder to invade because harsher defensive regulations, it just causes a lot of deaths, and eventually the Venetians are like, yo, this is not going well for us, let's do a peace treaty. And in the peace treaty, Venice demands what it wants and a bit more. It only manages to get this area, while this area over here is sadly given away to these guys. So yeah, they did manage to do some stuff. They did also manage to almost cut off this guy's border with this guy, which creates a funky looking border. Yeah, that looks a lot better. That looks very beautiful. Very beautiful. But yeah, Venice has reached their size which they wanted, and wanna know what they now want to do? Expand. And expand they will do, as quickly they will set up a very large force over here to invade a bit north, if you don't mind. Oh god. We quickly see that after this, large amounts of forces will push into this nation over here, quickly taking it by storm. Although resistance is again heavy, and the Venetians do win a lot, but they are losing again a lot. And like before, they had to stop. But Thessaloniki eventually decided to come to the aid and take over these areas. This area it gave this guy, who then joined the war against these guys. And it was a large war, not gonna lie. It was with many battles, many battles, but ultimately this guy managed to win the whole fight, and this guy managed to take the capital and a few other areas like this and this, which were Venetian spoils, but the Venetians couldn't hold them forever, and they knew that, so they gave them away. And this guy is now two towns, so they're very happy. This guy is 6 towns and is having troubles containing their colony over here. And Venice is like, yo, want us to buy it? And Naples is actually over here. I found out it's over here. So this is called Naples Campania, which I could say would not really be much different, but the Heel Nation will respond with, we give you the southern half. How about that? And the southern half is given, and turns out it's less work for them, and they managed to save a lot more money, so they give another half, and eventually they just decide to give a lot more until they just stop, because they don't want to give their whole thing away. But quickly we see a revolt over here happening, which they just say to Venice is like, they're like, yo, if they're revolting right now, how about we just tell this to Venice and ask them to invade this guy? And once Venice gets the green light to do it, it's done. That's all. It's done. It's just done. And Venice makes a very large colony over here. They have colonies over here, and they also managed to at some point snag some land from their neighbor over here, who kind of still hates them but cannot do anything about it, and is forced to give some land. Also, he was forced to give this island, and this guy was forced to give these islands. It's just for the love of the game. We also see that Arabic nations will actually, yes, finally start to consolidate themselves into one large nation. Although over here we see that this nation quickly just becomes one. I wasn't speaking for the duration of this, but basically I don't know when this cut off, but the Sinites gave up after a lot of stuff. Basically, one of the Mesopotamian generals found out that the slave trade was here. He brought a Mesopotamian person, and the first response he got was, "Oh, great, another slave." And he immediately recognized that there was a problem here, and he wanted to fix it. So yeah. Also, these armies, this is like where it will be in the future. I might place it over here because, well, these guys, but they aren't yet worried. They are strong enough, and they are in the works to train another third army. But the reason that this guy is the second army over here has been placed guard of this area is because, well, these are friendly with each other. These guys like each other. These two have a wonky relationship. This guy guarantees the independence of this guy because they like them. And not very sure about this area. But let's now go over to this area. I don't know how long we've been. We have time. So I'm gonna quickly explain what is going on here, and then we're going to the Ailong dynastial war. That will be between Korea and two of its enemies. But we see that this guy, this yellow guy, I changed his color because I realized the yellow dots over here that represent the towns and villages and all of that, they don't stick out. They blend in. They were like Vietnam soldiers during Vietnam. The Viet Cong, basically. And yeah, that's what happens. Also, they invaded the local areas and just built a lot of infrastructure, which the local people didn't like, and their people as well. So 4 groups decided to declare independence. These 2 weaker ones and these 2 stronger ones. The strongest of the 2 is this one, which has honestly the strongest military of them all. But seeing how small they are, this pink guy thinks, oh, easy peasy, we're like the biggest guy over here, except for these guys. That depends. Also, these guys expanded. I added all of this stuff, and I'm very proud of myself. From the beginning of this thing, we see that parts of the military over here that were in very much open, well, rebellion against the king or dynasty, emperors, whatever. They were openly defying his commands to expand further into this region, and then they just gave up on the whole idea of expanding itself, and they decided if we were to expand, we were to expand into our nation, and that's gruesome stuff. They do manage to capture quite a lot of territory off the bat to do their very early gain in military experience, but when it comes to sieging towns, they are abysmal, and eventually they are stuck at that. and they have to locate their forces over here. Meantime, they managed to take all of this. Well, not all of this. They have to consolidate a few of these areas, which are more loyal to the Emperor. But that's that. Whoever the hell is pinging me, my ears are ringing, and I don't like it. We also see that this green guy, that this green guy manages to do a lot of damage to the pink guy, but due to there being one town over here that they need to go through to get over to the north, and one over here to get to the rest of this, only to hit the wall of this guy. They were like, you know what, let's just take one more village and then go down south and just ignore this. And they quickly found out that the supply lines, you can directly attack them, and you can just cut off supplies at the and that's all you need to do. You have to cut off supplies, and the town will at some point surrender to you. That's what they learn, and they're like, yo, let's try the same thing over here. Turns out all the supplies came up from the north, and the rest over here were being used for the defense of the capital regions. And well, that just caused the whole area over here to fall over. And then the capital forces over here were like, yo, not cool, and push them back. Hard push them back. They did manage to hold out around this lake, but that's all they managed to do. Over here we see rebel forces being pummeled into hell. As we can see, their forces are being full-on frontal assaulted. But we do see after all of that, we do see that one of these nations over here just without any pressure decides to fall over. And when border troops start to arrive in this nation and take 2 villages, this guy decides to surrender, and they're immediately taken into the dynasty. So we see that the capital is in the middle of the country to gain control over everything, but with the farther you reach, the farther your influence goes, and that's basically their boundary. They are currently very successful in their pushes against their own people over here, as they have managed to push them out of this region entirely, and they are working on the last village over here, while they're also pushing in 2 directions. One over here towards this village to cut off these forces, eventually basically encircling them like this and causing this, and another to when this area is encircled, they can just link up with these guys and do encirclement tactic, which should work. So yeah, they're gonna try that. So at first it goes well. They manage to take this village and they go on, but early on some of the forces go too far west, cutting off supplies too fast, and eventually news of the encirclement arrives. The leadership in the capital of this whole thing decides to give up and just leave the capital altogether, and forces over here leave, although these guys are captured. These guys leave the capital, and over here the last stand is held in this village. As we can see, this village was lost, and miraculously in the last battle the rebels managed to recapture one last village and push all the way back to their homeland in a last-ditch effort to save themselves. Although they did all of that, it was all in vain, as on both sides they were crushed from both directions. And then all the army pushed over here because these guys had developed a new tactic. Attack them with speed, using horses. Yeah, they had used that to outflank them and get up north. And why do you need to get up north? Because one, very, 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 very fertile land. I'll give you that. And two, the best land you can ask for farming. And that's all they are. And if you cut them off the roster and take all of their stuff for yourself, well, hell, it seems like you're doing quite well. And the army over here quickly repositions over here, and also repositions around over here to do a double attack, pushing these guys out and also cutting them off over here, cutting them fully out of this area by also doing a kind of encirclement movement over here. Then they will push into this area and try to destroy them, while also holding off in this region entirely. Although they will have to abandon everything in that one peninsula, they will have to also defend all of that. So that's their battle plan. But little do they know, this northern parts over here, yeah, they have officially rebelled against the nation and joined this guy. And news of the success of this rebellion quickly causes a lot of these areas to actually come into full support for this guy, even though they don't like them. They see them as better than their dynasty owners. And quickly we also see that the returning guys over here hear about the whole thing and are like, yo, let's do this. And they do quite well with recruitment. They managed to recruit a lot of their old guys back who deserted. And over here they managed to recruit the entire garrison of this. Down south, an entire province over here, a provincial capital, and its areas turn over to the rebel side. And these towns over here are like, yo, would be funny if we did join this guy, and they did. And quickly we also see that the plan went into action when it did, and if it didn't, Godspeed, just Godspeed for everything, because the dynasty was unable to hear about these guys in time, and did lose a significant amount of land down south, as it sees that this town over here has been quite kinda harshly raided, and the rest of the areas over here to the east are being currently held off, are currently holding off the enemy forces, the rebel forces. But over here, the only success that they have made is just pushing into small areas of land that are very useless. Well, except for their food production, they are very useless. And after they do manage to take these back, even they just lose them immediately, and just puts them their military ineptitude on full display. And quickly the local people are like, yo, if there's this bad, we can just fight against them. And that's what they do. And even around the capital, pockets of forces decide to rebel and help the forces over here win by surrounding the capital and cutting off all communications possible. And right before they did so, all troops were to gather in the capital and then make a perimeter around these areas, and also around these two things, because why not? Down south, seeing that they were abandoned, this entire town over here and its region decided to give up on the prospect of being a part of the dynasty and just joined the rebellion outright. And over here, seeing how bad the situation is getting, this region over here also decided to do the same, although they did it in a bit of a weirder way. They still did so, and as you can see, after all of that, the rebels managed to take all of this over, and they have also eventually had their forces link up over here and take them over. So currently we're seeing, I think, one of the largest rebellions I have ever made, and it's low-key taking all of the time, so we won't be able to cover all of this. But next video will be when we cover this. I'm sorry guys, but that will be for the next video. But we do see that the military forces of this this pink nation will not be able to hold out for much longer, and in a shocking twist of fate, the capital falls and the emperor in it is killed. 5 weeks later, we do see a large offensive, cavalry offensive down south, causes the southern regions to quickly capitulate, and over in the north, a second large cavalry charge directed both at the new capital and the village over here to take over the small region over here is successful, causing many regions to kind of capitulate over quickly to these areas. And we also see that this capital over here falls with a little bit of force, and eventually over the course of a few months the rest of the forces managed to take it over. And if I'm gonna recolor it a bit, so it will be a bit of a darker color, so you guys know it's a different thing. Also, we're gonna have these bandit groups quickly just invade into this guy. This is kind of a revenge attack, because these are southern Chinese bandit groups, also some southern Chinese rebels from this gold guy, which the gold guys didn't like, but what can you do if you're being rebelled? What do you do? Tell me. Practically almost nothing, because that's what these guys did. And they managed to quickly, the rebels managed to take over that, and they also pushed into the town over there. They cut off the supplies over here to this town, and we quickly see them manage to also push into local areas over here. So yeah, they are quite strong, they are very capable, and they did something that no one really thought of, and they were pushed back when they did, because this is kind of the heartland of these guys. So yeah, but we'll see that this war will be constitutionally ended right here, because I'm gonna have to end the video. So gonna see you guys next time. If you remember to hit that like button, or pick up the rock that is the right button, throw it against the tree that is the subscribe button, throw it with the lever action of a bolt lever action rifle, and yeah, good day guys, see you guys next time, peace.